Have you ever heard the saying, keep your friends close but your enemies closer? Well, what about keeping your enemies' enemies even closer? Today, we're diving into one of the most ruthless and honestly fascinating business strategies I've ever come across. It's what I call the competitor's ally strategy. Imagine this scenario. You build a company from the ground up with a partner. You pour your heart, soul, and countless sleepless nights into it. Then, one day, that partner decides they don't need you anymore. They find a way to push you out, thinking they can take everything, the clients, the reputation, the future you built together. They leave you with nothing. So, what do? Most people would think about suing, starting a new, competing business, or just trying to move on. But there's another path, a much more destructive one. What if, instead of trying to beat your old partner at their own game, you decided to simply burn their game to the ground? This is where the story gets interesting. I once knew someone in this exact situation. Let's call him Alex. His partner, let's call him Ben, betrayed him. Alex was devastated, but then his grief turned into cold, calculated rage. He didn't want money. He didn't want an apology. He wanted to see Ben's business fail, completely and utterly. So Alex didn't start a new company. Instead, he made a phone call. Who did he call? Ben's biggest, most feared competitor. He walked into their headquarters and said, "I have everything you need to crush my old company. All my inside knowledge, every client's preference, every weakness in their operation, every single strategic plan we ever made, and I will give it all to you for free." The executives were stunned. They asked him what he wanted in return. His reply was simple: "I don't want a dime. I just want to see his market share hit zero." This is the essence of the kamikaze business strategy. It's not about winning. It's about ensuring your target loses, even if it means you gain nothing tangible from it. You become a self-destructing missile aimed directly at your enemy's heart. This isn't a strategy for the faint of heart. It requires you to let go of any personal financial gain from the endeavor. Your payment is pure, unadulterated satisfaction. You're weaponizing your knowledge not for profit, but for vengeance. Think about the sheer power of this move. The competitor gets a priceless treasure trove of intelligence for free. They get the ultimate insider, someone who knows every skeleton in the closet, every crack in the foundation. For them, it's like being handed the keys to the kingdom. For Alex, it was the perfect tool. He couldn't compete with Ben's established company on his own, not right away. But by empowering Ben's biggest rival, he could inflict damage on a scale he could only dream of achieving alone. He became the ghost in their machine, systematically dismantling his own creation from the outside. This leads us to the concept of zero-sum warfare in business. In a normal market, multiple companies can coexist and thrive. It's a positive-sum game where the pie can grow, and everyone can get a slice. But this strategy changes the rules. It turns the market into a brutal, zero-sum battlefield where one company's gain is directly and proportionally another company's loss. The goal is no longer just to get a bigger slice of the pie. The goal is to take the entire pie and leave your enemy with nothing but crumbs, if that. When you fuel a competitor with this kind of high-level intelligence, you're not just helping them compete. You're equipping them for total domination. Suddenly, they know which clients are unhappy, what pricing strategy will hurt the most, and when to launch a new product to completely overshadow your old company's release. It's a relentless, strategic assault designed to bleed the target dry. Every client poached, every contract lost, every dip in stock price becomes a victory. The market becomes a gladiatorial arena, and you've just handed the strongest gladiator a hidden weapon. The objective is total annihilation. To reduce your enemy's market share, revenue, and reputation to absolute zero. Now, let's talk about how this can be seen as destroying a monopoly. Sometimes a company, like Ben's, might not be a true monopoly in the legal sense, but it acts like one. It dominates a niche, gets complacent, and maybe even engages in unfair practices because it feels untouchable. When a former insider decides to break this dominance, it's not just about personal revenge. It can be seen as a form of market correction, albeit a very aggressive one. By empowering the underdog or the main rival, you're injecting a lethal dose of competition back into the market. You're disrupting the status quo. This can actually have positive side effects for consumers. The newly empowered competitor will likely lower prices, improve services, and innovate faster to capitalize on their newfound advantage. The monopolistic company is forced to fight for its life, which often means offering better deals to its customers to stop them from leaving. So, while the motivation might be personal and dark, the outcome can be a more dynamic and competitive marketplace. You become an agent of chaos, but from that chaos, a new order emerges, one where the complacent giant is either humbled or completely toppled. You're not just settling a score. You're redrawing the map of the entire industry. You're a vigilante, breaking the rules to restore a twisted sense of balance. In this scenario, Alex wasn't just getting revenge on Ben. He was fundamentally altering the power dynamics of their entire sector. This brings us to the final and perhaps most fascinating role in this drama, the spite-driven consultant. This is the identity you adopt. You're not an employee. You're not a partner. You are a consultant whose only fee is the failure of your enemy. Your motivation is pure spite, and that can be a more powerful driver than money will ever be. A normal consultant might be motivated by a bonus or a long-term contract. Their advice, while valuable, is always filtered through the lens of their own self-interest. But the spite-driven consultant has no such filter. Their only goal is maximum damage. They will work longer hours, dig deeper for information, and devise more ruthless strategies than anyone on the payroll because their reward is emotional, not financial. They are a true believer in the cause being the utter downfall of their target. This makes their advice uniquely potent and incredibly dangerous. Imagine the competitor's perspective. They have this brilliant strategist who knows the enemy inside and out, working for them for free. Alex wasn't just giving them a data dump. He was an active part of their strategy team. He could predict Ben's every move because he had been in the room when those very contingency plans were made. He was the ultimate chess master, playing a game where he saw the entire board, including all the moves his opponent was about to make. This is a cautionary tale about how you treat people in business. Betrayal can create an enemy far more dangerous than any market competitor. It can create someone who is no longer interested in playing the game by the established rules. Someone who is willing to burn everything down just to watch you shiver in the cold. It's a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable asset a company has isn't its technology or its capital, but the knowledge locked inside its employees' heads. And if you betray them, that knowledge might just end up in the hands of the one person you fear the most. So what happened to Ben? His company, once the leader in its field, began to hemorrhage clients. Its profit margins evaporated. The competitor, armed with Alex's knowledge, anticipated every move, undercut every price, and offered superior service to every key account. Within 2 years, Ben's company was forced to sell for a fraction of its former value to the very competitor Alex had allied with. Alex never made a single dollar from it. But as he told me later, watching the for sale sign go up on his old office was the biggest bonus he could have ever received. A chilling example of the competitor's ally strategy in action. Thanks so much for watching. What do you think about this strategy? Is it brilliant or just plain evil? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the dark side of business, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.